Hi everyone, it's TheTidesChanging here, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm making a starter home named Red Brick Cottage, and this is the first build I'm doing in an effort to fill up all the lots in Newcrest. I just thought that'd be a fun little challenge for myself to do, and I've been really wanting to just make a set of lots to fill a world for a while now, and Newcrest is the perfect opportunity to do that. And I figured it'd be good in case anyone just wants a full set of lots to put into Newcrest. There are some other people who have done that. I know Simified finished a whole series in which he was making lots for Newcrest, and there were some other people as well. I saw some pictures on Twitter of finished sets and they were really beautiful, but I'm not sure how long it's gonna take me to make all 15 lots. It might take a while, but I'm gonna do my best to actually complete it. The houses that I do for Newcrest will be made with budget, so that'll make them quicker to do because I won't be going quite as detailed with the interior furnishing, but I will of course still make them look nice. But that does mean that I'll be able to get the builds done quicker, so hopefully I'll be able to move through all 15 lots quicker than if I were doing just fully detailed lots with no budget in mind. But I'm not going to be doing just only lot builds for Newcrest until I'm done with them. What I'll probably do is I'll do a couple builds for Newcrest, then I'll just do some other kind of build, then back to the Newcrest ones. So the next couple of builds will probably be for Newcrest. There'll be a spa and another starter home. And then after that I'm going to take a break from the Newcrest builds and do the large modern home that I mentioned I wanted to do in the last speed build. But what I had in mind for my version of Newcrest was more traditional family home styled houses, but then for the community lots I wanted to go for more of a modern style. So what I'll probably do is have two neighborhoods that are just houses, and then I'll have one neighborhood that's all community lots. That's about all that I wanted to say about that in the beginning here, so now I'm going to get on to the actual build. So this house does have a very traditional look, but for the interior I went with more contemporary type furnishing. And with this starter house I really focused on making the interior look nice. However, unlike what I normally do with speed builds, I didn't do parts of the exterior, then go to the interior, then finish the exterior. I actually just did the whole exterior and then moved on to the interior after that, which probably wasn't the greatest idea because I did get into a bit of a pinch with the interior where I ran out of money when I got to the bedroom, so I just had to go back out into the yard and sell a whole bunch of stuff, and it was sort of annoying. But right now I'm adjusting a few things with the roof. So originally I didn't have the roof going all the way around the porch, which was just going around part of it, but then I figured it would look a little bit better if the whole porch was covered, so I was just trying to adjust the roof because there was part of the hipped roof around the back that looked a little bit odd, so I was trying to figure out a way to cover it up. At first I tried a half roof, but then what I ended up doing was putting another gable roof over the main one and just pulling it one tile back, and that did a good job of covering it up. So right now I'm just getting all the columns back in. Here I was getting a look at the place at different times of the day. I also added in that vent type decoration just under the roof there. I thought that'd be a nice realistic touch, and now I'm starting on the landscaping. So first off I added in a gravel path going up to the front steps, and now I'm starting on adding in all the plants. And for the landscaping I used a lot of the plants that came with Outdoor Retreat because I found that they're actually cheaper than a lot of the other types of flowers and shrubs, so if you're looking to build on a budget, using those is a good way to keep the cost of the house down. So I didn't really do anything too crazy with the landscaping. It's just kind of the standard landscaping I've been doing lately, but you know, landscaping that way is definitely a good way to keep the price down. I did think about using a low fence to border the garden, but I just really wanted to save the money I would have used for that because fencing can get quite expensive. So right here I'm just changing the siding up a little bit to the white one that's a little bit thicker, trying out some other shutter colors too, but I just stuck with the black. I think it contrasts nicely with the white, and I wasn't quite happy with how the windows look next to the door there, so what I ended up doing was just sticking a shuttered window next to the door, which added a little bit more, you know, made it look a little bit more interesting there. So right now moving around the back, there's not a whole lot there, just a nice big oak tree, as well as some more of the plants that came with Outdoor Retreat. So adding a few plants on either side of the stairs, and there is a patio area, just a, you know, a little paved area right off the stairs there. I was hoping to have enough money to put a table there, but unfortunately I just spent the rest of the money on the interior. Because I think, yeah, I had a little under 10,000 simoleons to furnish the interior. Speaking of which, I'm moving on to the interior now, so I'm just starting things off by putting in the doors going to the bedroom and the bathroom. Also getting some lights in there so y'all can actually see what's going on with the furnishing. The first room that I furnished in this house was a kitchen, which has sort of an odd layout because it's just right smack dab in the center of the house instead of being on one of the outer edges like kitchens commonly are. And the reason why I did this was because I was trying to go for a more unique layout with this house. So I was looking up floor plans of smaller homes to get some inspiration, and I saw one that had the kitchen laid out like this. And I thought it actually looked pretty cool, and I really wanted to try it out in this build. So I actually did base this house off of that floor plan, but that house was a bit more boxier than this one was because I just made some tweaks to the design of it, added some bump outs in some places, and arranged things slightly different. But I really do like the layout of this house and how it turned out. I think it'd be pretty fun to play in. At this point the kitchen's done though, so right now I'm just adding in the wallpaper to the walls and also getting curtains all around. And I moved on to furnishing the living room area, so there's not a whole lot in it. There's just a little TV. I really wanted there to be a TV, also a nice white sofa, and at first I was trying to go for a more light and bright look with the living room here with lots of whites and like beiges and such, and I was trying to fit in as many decorations as I could in here. And I also added in an orange chair just for a pop of color because I felt like, you know, other than the blue, everything was all white, so I thought orange would be a nice touch, but I did go and darken up everything. Although at the end of this I realized the brighter colors I had originally looked better, so I do go back last minute and just change the colors of the living room to how they were originally. Right now moving on to the dining room. So in the dining room I actually used the bubble chairs that came with Get to Work. Because I just wanted to make it look very nice. Like I wanted the interior of this house to not look like a starter home. I was just trying to make it look as nice and upscale as I could, so getting a plant there in the corner. I also use the paintings that you can get with the Show Hidden Objects sheet because they're pretty cheap, but they also look really cool, so they're great for if you're furnishing on a budget. Over here I'm adding in a desk. I would have liked to put a computer on it, but there just wasn't enough money for that. I also added a yellow desk lamp in for an extra pop of color, and right now I'm getting another one of those Show Hidden Objects paintings up above there. And even though this house is only one bedroom, you could easily make it into a two-bedroom one if you wanted. So that whole area in the back, the one I'm turning into a reading nook, and also the part where the computer is, you could easily just wall that off and turn into a second bedroom if you needed it. So the house is versatile in that manner, and I think that's it for the living area. So now moving on to the bathroom, and at this point I have about 1,800 simoleons, which wasn't quite enough to furnish the last two rooms. I did put one of the tile floors that came with spotted to use in the bathroom. I just really like how it looks in there. I also use that same one in the kitchen, and I think the kitchen wallpaper was from Spotted also. But there's not a whole lot going on in the bathroom. It's just the basic plumbing items and a few decorations. I did put a hamper in there, but I did have to get rid of it to be able to furnish the bedroom. Because we've got 626 simoleons to furnish the whole bedroom, which I quickly realized was not going to cut it because I put the bed in. And then there's only 76 simoleons left, and I still had to do the wallpaper, get end tables, a dresser, because, you know, I didn't want to not have a dresser in the house. So I was trying to figure out where I could cut costs, and I mean, I should have gotten rid of some of the paintings that were on the living area, but I really wanted to keep the living area looking nice, so I was just very hesitant to get rid of that stuff. So I don't think I got rid of the oak tree at this point. I think I get rid of that later, but I did downgrade the bookshelf to just the wall one because it's a lot cheaper. And I was trying to figure out what kinds of colors to use on the bed. I unfortunately accidentally went into live mode, which is really bad when you're working on a budgeted build like this because it cuts the value of everything down. So, you know, after that, if I went to go sell an item, it was worth a lot less and I didn't get all that money back. So that was pretty frustrating. But yeah, I went with a purple and green color scheme for the bedroom, and I'm not super happy with the bedroom. It's very plain. There's just not a whole lot going on in it. And I think here I was trying to figure out what to get rid of to afford a dresser. Oh, that was where I put in the wall bookshelf, but yeah, I realized dressers were very expensive, but then I remembered that with the recent update, lockers can now be used to change clothes, so I just stuck one of those wardrobes or one of the lockers that came with spa day in there, which worked really well because it's super cheap. We are almost at the end of the build, so I wanted to quickly remind you that if you do want to download this house, there will be a download link in the description below, and if you want to find it in-game, you can search for The Tides Changing or Red Brick Cottage on the gallery. But this is where I'm going to leave off, so I hope you'll enjoy the rest of this video.